When you attempt to cover up a situation by not responding for several days, and then when you respond, you post a photo like this, and it has been
Where he's fully clothed in a long sleeve shirt while sitting in a hospital getting treatment, which everyone knows that you wouldn't be wearing long sleeves in a hospital.
Well, the reason why the story is so non-believable is that it's already been fact-checked by Grok and a number of other outlets that have said, confirming that this photograph is real. That's not in dispute. This is a real photo. This is not AI. The problem is that this photo was taken 3 years ago. So
well, why? Here's what perplexes me. They know that they put out a statement that the wife is in China.
Yes.
So if they put out a statement that she's in China, how is it that they're releasing a picture with her in his hospital room?
Well, that's, and even if this,
why would you do, they're not even covering up their own story well. Like, it's weird.
You know what? We learned a while back, especially in light of Charlie Kirk's assassination and a lot of things that have happened, especially over the last year. It's like the UFC fighter that exposed Eric Trump messaging him privately, asking for inside information on the fights about who's taken a dive and how can I get all my money bet on this person. They have given up on the rule of law. It does not exist. It's basically loot the treasury, get whatever you can out of it while you can. And we both know that one of the primary motivators as to why McConnell is not being either reported as deceased or as brain dead or whatever the hell is going on right now, because they know that there is a very high likelihood that Thomas Massie is going to A, run for president in 2028, and B, if he were to run in a special election that by law they would have to commence, and he were to win the Senate seat, you want to talk about adding a whole other layer to his profile as a presidential candidate? There's a reason they want to keep him in the dark. There's a reason. And could you imagine how much money AIPAC will have to spend this time if Massie gets in the race? How much you think they would throw at a senatorial primary against Massie, Jen?
Oh, we're talking over $100 million. They got to spend $100 million. How much did they spend? How much was thrown when they did that?
32 million for the congressional seat.
Well, so they'd have to at least double that. It'd have to be at least double.
Kentucky has 8 electoral votes, which means that they have 6 congressional districts. So if you were even to just go based on putting 6 congressional districts together, that's $180 million based on that metric that they would consider spending against Massie in an election, a special election for the U.S. Senate in Kentucky, their northern neighbor. Point is, would they be willing to do that? Yeah, probably. And that's great.
What are the rules? Okay, so guys, regarding what happens, it depends. It's not one blanket answer. It depends. It depends on the timing, and it depends on the state. The different states, I don't know. I tell me if I'm wrong. States have different rules about, because some states it's the governor appoints, right? Yeah. And some right. So I don't know, and I don't know when the timing is where they would say, "Oh, it's acceptable to have a special election."
Basically, the way it works, if you're talking about the legal
Kentucky particularly. So
no, it's got nothing to do with Kentucky. So the legal process in this case, and the way it works, is that if a sitting member of, let's say, Congress dies, the Senate dies, the governor has the authority to appoint the replacement for the period of time up until the special election or until that person's term is over.
Right.
In the case of Lindsey Graham, he just went through a re-election campaign, which he did win, but he technically is out of his seat the end of the year. At the end, well, literally and figuratively, at the end of the year. So in the case of McConnell, the same would happen because the primary just took place. So there would have to be another election. There would have to be a special election that would have to take place. And so McConnell decided, or somebody decided for him, that he was not going to step down. So now they're in a very tricky spot. And how they're going to handle this is, again, I don't know. I'm going to try this because I already know how the New York Times operates, but I'm going to send this to you, Colin, and we're going to pull it up. They are now claiming this happened today. I don't believe it for a second, but I think they feel the pressure, the heat is on in more ways than one.
Nobody believes these people for a minute.
Yeah, apparently McConnell made a statement today.
Right.
And this
Wait,
was
not on video. Not a video. There's no video of this.
No, there is no video. Not
so
to my
then
knowledge.
I don't believe that it's a statement from him. That's where we're at. And even if there was video, I would say it could be AI. That's where we are now. I'm not believing any statement. Let's hear what he says.
After weeks of silence, McConnell says, I am recovering from a fall. The Republican senator denied that he has suffered a heart attack and said that he had left the hospital and moved to a physical rehabilitation center. He did not give a timetable for returning to Capitol Hill, as in never. Senator McConnell.
We won't miss him. We won't miss you either.
Yeah, Senator McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, broke his silence on Sunday about his long hospitalization, releasing a statement saying that he was recovering at a rehabilitation center after suffering a fall and losing consciousness last month, and then battling a mild case of pneumonia. Case of pneumonia.
So he's been gone for a month and didn't feel the need to put out a statement until they got busted with the fraudulent picture. And we're supposed to believe that this is a legitimate statement. Well, then why wasn't it put out after the fall that he supposedly had, or after he got mild pneumonia? Why would you wait a month and then have to admit everything at once? Like, why would you do that unless you were not going to do it at all?
My doctors have confirmed that I didn't break any bones or suffer a concussion. I didn't have a heart attack or a stroke. I don't have any tumors or hemorrhages. Mr. McConnell said that he had been taken by emergency responders to the hospital after falling briefly unconscious. The insult of this, the 84-year-old senator's update regarding his health came on the heels of Senator. Okay, so do you guys understand what damage control looks like from the establishment's perspective? He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. I'm reporting that I am totally fine, that I didn't fall, that I didn't have a heart attack. What other diseases do they say that I have?
That's what I mean. That's not a statement from him.
No.
That's not a statement from him. He didn't make that statement. Not ever. That's stupid. And not only that, because let's be real, most of these people don't really make their own statements, right? They have a comms person and their press person that does that anyway. So it's not that I would really expect Mitch McConnell. Yes, it was me lighting up that bowl. I wouldn't expect Mitch McConnell to necessarily write his own statements, even if he was completely lucid and cognizant. However, they would at least come from or be believable to come out of his mouth, whereas this did not happen.
No,
most likely because he's not conscious.
You ain't kidding. For weeks, Mr. McConnell, who is more than a decade older than Mr. Graham was at the time of his death, did not share details regarding his health ailments, despite multiple requests from the New York Times and other media outlets.
And then they print the picture again. They print the picture again when they know that everybody knows that it's bullshit because it's old.
Questions have mounted over what prompted his lengthy hospitalization, what his condition was, and whether he would ever return to the Senate. Emergency responders were heard in dispatch audio recording that they were performing CPR on an unconscious individual suffering cardiac arrest. I don't think he's alive. At the senator's Washington address last month on the morning he was hospitalized, scant statements from his office fueled rampant speculation across Capitol Hill and the country regarding his medical status and whether he would ever make it back to the Senate floor. Some began openly wondering what would happen should Mr. McConnell, who was retiring in January, be unable to finish his term in the Senate. Governor
Oh,
Andy
what did
Beshear
you
of Kentucky sent a letter to him demanding that he update his constituents on his health as rumors swirled, questioning whether he was still fit to serve. No, he's not. Mr. McConnell said in his statement that he has been reluctant to share his physical challenges, which have plagued him since he contracted polio as a child and have grown more prevalent with age. Man, I tell you, if we never got the polio vaccine, we never would have heard of FDR or Mitch McConnell, for that matter. Well, actually, no, we would have heard of FDR. We wouldn't have heard of Mitch McConnell. That we wouldn't have heard of. So, contributing to a steep decline in recent years. You all know how folks of my generation often hesitate to share the vulnerability that comes with growing older. Even in the public eye, I feel that same instinct. I can't help it.
Nobody will miss that son of a bitch either. I don't even think his wife will care. I mean, he's been falling over and losing time and freezing and being totally humiliated like an elder abuse situation for the past few years. And his wife is obviously a participant, just like Jill Biden was a participant.
Of course.
So there's no way that she gives that much of a shit about him. Because if she cared about her husband, then he wouldn't have been being paraded around like a vegetable for as long as he has.
Last week, prominent Republicans said they had spoken to Mr. McConnell in formulaic and seemingly scripted social media posts and statements that described lengthy conversations with the Kentucky senator, including about key issues that are top of mind for conservatives. Rather than putting it to rest, the statements only further intensified already wild public speculation about Mr. McConnell's health. In his statement on Sunday, Mr. McConnell said that he had left the hospital and that he was entering a physical rehab center to help him regain strength after the fall. At 84 years old, no less. He's
entering a rehabilitation center? You mean a hospice?
Yeah.
Is that, you mean a hospice, Mitch?
He did not provide an estimate of when he would return to work. He's not going to.
But yet he's getting paid, right?
Yeah.
He gets paid.
Of course.
And unlimited sick leave. I mean, they just keep getting paid.
Absolutely. Attached to Mr. McConnell's statement was a comment from the Office of the Attending Physician, the on-site doctor for members of Congress at the Capitol. The Capitol Physician's Office said the senator had fallen because of his post-polio condition. Are you fucking crazy? Sustained minor injuries and was now undergoing intensive physical therapy. Yeah. Mr. McConnell turned to the same physician, Dr. Brian P. Moynihan, in 2023, when he was working to dispel speculation that he was no longer physically able to continue as minority leader after a series of on-camera freezing episodes. Can you believe that it was 3 years now that he was having those freezing episodes?
Yes. And again, if I were, wanting to, litigate this, that would be me collecting evidence against his wife for elder abuse.
Well, I think in this case, it's safe to say that he probably did have a stroke, correct? I think that's a safe bet.
I am not in any, look, he's been clearly having issues, constitution issues, physical constitution, mental constitution for a few years. I am not qualified to say why. I can say that I've seen him freeze and I've seen him fall and I've seen him not be able to answer questions and I've seen him lose his train of speech and all things that indicate some sort of frontal lobe impairment. But I am not a healthcare person, so I can't make that assessment.
Again, we don't know for certain if the crypt keeper is deceased, but I think that it is,
He's not coming back.
No.
He's not coming back he's not going to be back in the Senate. He's not coming back. So whether or not he's dead now or just a vegetable or just in a wheelchair or whatever it is, he's not coming back to the Senate. So now how long they can go on doing this without having to produce a body or forfeit a paycheck, I don't know. But that's what they're going to ride it as long as they can. But he's not coming back.
Oh, of course.
No.
So back then, he released a letter from Dr. Moynihan declaring that an examination and tests had ruled out a stroke or seizure as causes. Again, no one is going to believe this, and no one should believe it. That's the point. Scroll.
Why would anyone believe this? This man has been having health issues for years.
Mm-hmm. There is no evidence that you have a seizure disorder or that you experienced a stroke, TIA, or movement disorder such as Parkinson's, the letter said. Statement on Sunday similarly ruled out the widely speculated potential causes of Mr. McConnell's recent episode. A comprehensive evaluation by a multidisciplinary team determined that he had no fractures, cardiac abnormalities, stroke, tumor, hemorrhage. I am going to go on record as to say he probably had all those things. He didn't have one of them. He had all of them.
He had all of them. And I was going to say that too, because you don't write a letter and highlight what somebody doesn't have. You wouldn't do that. You only do that if he does and you're wanting to say that he doesn't, because otherwise you would say what somebody was diagnosed with, and then you would say all other functions were normal, everything else looked good. You wouldn't specifically point those out.
Correct. I agree. But in the end, you have been saying for several years now that we are effectively running a hospice on Capitol Hill. And if you needed any further proof that that is the case, you look no further than what this whole McConnell circumstance represents. And there are several others, don't get me wrong. This just happens to be the most glaring and probably the most consequential, because I think we both agree that in terms of the populist right, Thomas Massie is going to run for president of the United States. And if he has the opportunity—
I don't know that.
I think there's a very good chance he is. Let's put it that way.
Well,
and I also believe that if he has an opportunity to run in a special election for the Senate in Kentucky, he's going to take it. And so, be it what it is, they're doing everything they can to cover it up, and they're not doing a very good job.